This Saturn is going to give you that strength, that power to embark upon tough decisions, harder journeys. If you've been good, you've been kind, you've been doing the right things with your partner, with your spouse, you should not be scared any bit, because this Saturn is going to then give you the right results. Whatever Saturn offers is for the long run, and it is always what a person deserves. This Saturn expects you to work hard. This Saturn expects you to be disciplined. This Saturn expects you to reward. Hi guys, welcome back to Dev Astrology. After many requests that I received from you guys, I thought of recording the Saturn direct video as well. As we all know, Saturn has been in retrograde for the last few months, and it is getting in direct motion in the sign of Aquarius from November 15th. What I'm going to do is talk about how this Saturn is going to be impacting us through the course of the next 2 to 3 months. In fact, it is going to be in direct motion in the same house until end of March. So let's jump into the review of each signs and figure out what does this Saturn hold for us. Now, for Aries, as you guys can see on your screen here, that Saturn is sitting in your 11th house itself. From this 11th house, it is going to be providing a debilitated aspect to your Lagna, to your ascendant itself. One thing is for sure that as it shifts from its retrograde motion to a direct motion, you will find some respite when it comes to your health. There have been certain losses that this Saturn has also been inducing to you and probably the interests that you've been pursuing. Some of that respite will come to you from that particular angle, as this Saturn is now not going to be giving the impact of the 12th house. However, remember, this aspect is debilitated, and debilitated aspect of Saturn will bring certain challenges as well. So you will have to push harder. You will have to continue to work harder towards whatever pursuits you've been chasing. I would recommend you guys not to be dropping the ball when it comes to the gains or the wish fulfillment that you've been hoping for. But yes, your wishes will be fulfilled. Your desires will come true. And why am I saying that? In the retrograde motion, it was giving an impact to its previous house as well. And for that matter, it is said that a malefic planet, when it gets retrograded, it gets more powerful, and its malefic impacts also increase. Whereas a benefic planet, say in this case Jupiter, which is continuously being in retrograde in the sign of Taurus, it tends to magnify its benefic aspects as well. So keeping that in mind, you have to understand that this direct Saturn is going to at least now provide you benefic aspects with respect to 11th house. And why benefic aspects? Because it is sitting in its own sign. So the goals that you've been chasing, the targets that you've set for yourself, you can anticipate to accomplish those goals, or the outcomes will slowly and steadily start falling in place in whatever fashion you desire them to be. But all of this is conditional to the fact that you cannot let any kind of laziness seep into your attitude, your behavior, your daily regimen. Again, it's the debilitated aspect of Saturn coming into your Lagna which can induce those tendencies in you. You should also be focused towards your health. Do not let that be a miss. This Saturn is also going to be giving an aspect to your 5th house. From there, you should anticipate that its aspect is to the sign of Leo. Please continue to maintain certain caution when it comes to your investments, towards your education if you are a student watching this video. With respect to the health of your kids, I think I will recommend you not to pick up too strict of a behavior with them, because that is a tendency that you might derive. Overall, it may not be a bad aspect, because if you've been steadfast in terms of your objectives when it comes to investments, and you've maintained your approach throughout in the last few months, that is going to bear a positive fruit to you. This Saturn will also be giving its 10th aspect into your 8th house. Currently, Mercury is stationed there, but as we walk through the course of the next few months, what essentially you're going to notice is that somewhere or the other, you will have this tendency to work in isolation, to do some research, pick up some new subjects. It is definitely a good day. You must focus in that direction. You should not worry about any kind of sudden changes or transformation coming your way, because that is something natural and you will have to adapt to it as well. You will have to be careful because your Mars also remains debilitated for most of this period. And it is your Lagna Lord as well. And thereby this becomes very important. Remember, when Saturn is giving an aspect to the 8th, there is very high chance you will develop further interest towards occult sciences, astrology, numerology, and any of those related matters. You could also have interest towards gambling or tendencies towards spending your time, effort, and money in that direction as well. Something that can give you results in a very fast fashion. Please stay away from that, or else in your larger objectives, the goals that you've set might see a setback. So you will have to be careful with that aspect. Overall, I think this transit is going to give you a much bigger opportunity to succeed. You have to just focus towards not being lazy and putting in your hard fought efforts in everything you go for. If you've liked this video, guys, please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dev Astrology. Taurus, as you guys can see on the screen here, Saturn is currently stationed in your 10th house. Now, directionally, that's a beautiful placement for your Saturn. More importantly, as this Saturn shifts from its retrograde to direct motion, some of the challenges that you will see at your workplace, at your professional environment, or even from your karma perspective, where you were leaning to the fortune or your destiny to play a part, will now be actually all shifting back to your own hard work, to your own karma. This Saturn is going to give you that strength, that power to embark upon tough decisions, harder journeys. And by harder journeys, I do not mean more complications. All I mean is that you will be equipped to work hard in the right way. This Saturn is giving a debilitated aspect to your 12th house. It's a good thing in a way. Why? Because now you will see that there will be a very cautious intent towards the expenses or investments that you're going to be making. I think you will take precautions or right judgment calls when it comes to how you go about spending in your money. Remember, it is also important for you to focus towards spirituality. It is going to help you redeem yourself in any avenues that you've been struggling with. This aspect, debilitated aspect is going to be auto-redeemed if you are able to spend your time either helping elders in your family or in community in general, or if you are literally doing measures like distributing stuff to the lesser known people in the community, to the lesser fortunate people in the community. Helping people who require help will be a very good remedy for you guys. And it will fix some of the challenges that you can anticipate with this aspect. But the good bit is that your expenses will be on a check. You might not want to be in isolation and spend time with your colleagues, your professional circle, more importantly. Then you have an aspect towards your 4th house as well. Now, this is an inimical aspect to the sign of Leo. There could be certain challenges that you might face from your mental peace or the health of your mother perspective. There could be challenges that you might see in terms of argumentative situations coming in family, or maybe in general lack of peace. However, it also gives you an opportunity to shine, to build something of your own, to construct something new, to do some kind of remodeling, maybe even go ahead and purchase something. But please be cautious that the decision making has to be kept in mind given the planetary positions in your natal chart and how it is configuring in transit as well. If you've not had a chance, check out the monthly reading as well, because it will give you a lot of clarity from all other planetary positions as to how you should embark in terms of any kind of investments related to property or any kind of assets. I very well believe that there will be an itch within you to go about and acquire something new. The Saturn will also give an aspect to your to your 7th house with its 10th aspect. And that is very critical, guys. It is important for you to note that you manage your relationships efficiently. By the way, it is a planet of justice. So if you've been good, you've been kind, you've been doing the right things with your partner, with your spouse, you should not be scared any bit, because this Saturn is going to then give you the right results as well. However, if there is anything shady in your transactions, you can expect results coming back to you as well. Important to note is that because Saturn is sitting in the 10th house, it has gained directional strength. It is sitting in its own sign. Its 10th aspect will be very crucial for people who are in their own business or they're trying to run something of their own. You will see possibilities, new opportunities coming in your way, and you should be able to succeed in those opportunities as well if you've been putting in the right efforts in the right direction. So there's a lot of possibilities of right things happening, right outcomes coming in your way based on the efforts that you've put. And do not drop the ball. I anticipate that Taurus, you guys will not be dropping the ball at any point in time. You will be putting in the right efforts. This Saturn is going to expect you to push hard. He is the Lord of your 9th house as well. And it is a Raj Yoga coming into play for you. So I think the next 4 to 5 months are going to be a very good period from your professional lifestyle perspective. Keep a watch on your health. More importantly, keep a watch on your mental health and your mother's being as well. If you've liked this video, guys, then please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Thank you for watching. Geminis. As you guys can see on your screen here, Saturn is the Lord of your 8th and 9th, and it is getting direct in your 9th house itself. It's a very good signature for you folks. Now, being direct in the 9th house, it is going to be giving a debilitated aspect into your 11th house. Gains could come slow. They will not be denied, but yes, they could come slow. You might have to lean on your luck a bit for these gains to materialize. But remember, Saturn is not the Lord of luck. He believes in karma. He believes in hard work. So please combine your hard work. Please combine in your efforts and energies to accomplish the desires, the goals, the targets that you've set for yourself. And you are definitely going to find some success coming your way. What you will notice here is that Saturn sitting in its own sign in the 9th house itself, you will observe some sort of natural play in your life, especially with respect to your profession or with respect to your spiritual mindset. You could automatically be inclined in this direction. The universe, in a way, will start conspiring to help you during this period, and the next 4 to 5 months you will find that things will start falling into place automatically. This has been a challenge which I had called out long time back, that with the retrograde motion, some of that impact might loosen out for you, but you are ready for a bounce back in this period. Now, the Saturn is also going to be giving an impact or an aspect to your 3rd house. Please be ready for some long hours of slogging. That is very much expected, and especially because the Saturn is giving an aspect to the sign of Leo. You will have to focus towards communication. You will have to focus towards your self-expression, formal communication, formal expression, so to speak. If you are having any kind of physical hobbies in place, that is going to be good for you. However, I would still want you to practice caution in general from your health perspective. Remember, Mars is debilitated, so you have to keep that in mind. You will forge connections with your neighbors. From your siblings' perspective, I will recommend you not to intervene much into their family matters and let matters as be. However, you will get support from the spouses of your siblings, and that could be a positive thing. This Saturn will also be giving an aspect to your 6th house. There can be a definitive motion towards your job aspects. In fact, job opportunities might automatically come for you. You could get opportunities from recruiters and talent acquisition professionals reaching out to you. It is giving an aspect to the sign of Scorpio in 6th house. It is extremely important that you maintain your daily regimen and hard work. If you've been anticipating to get some sort of loans, or if you've been trying to avoid any kind of legal situations, it's a good period. Please stay away from that. You necessarily do not want to get into situations that are not great for you. But at the same time, from a professional perspective, I see this turning out to be a very positive period. From a competition perspective, or if there are any students watching this as to how the success could be from a competitive examinations perspective, this is a period where you should not be dropping the ball and putting in a lot of hard work. And that hard work will give you the outcome. Yes, the outcome could be delayed. Remember, it's a debilicated aspect the Saturn is giving to your 11th house, but it will not be denied. So you will accomplish the goals that you will be seeking. Last but not the least, please try and maintain healthy relationships with your bosses, with your fatherly figures, with your superiors in general. That is going to be very important. And I think naturally you will have this tendency now. There have been some challenges that you've seen with respect to this area of your life, and hopefully you will be able to fix that in the next few months. Please spend some time with your father. Just a general counsel interaction with respect to what you are doing, how you're approaching your profession or life in general may not be a bad idea at all. Those conversations, those insights can give you something that can help you achieve what 11th house has to promise. I hope you've liked this video, guys. If you have, then please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Thank you for watching. Now, Cancer. As you guys can see on your screen here, Saturn is placed in your 8th house. It is the lord of your 7th and 8th, sitting in the 8th, and it is going away from retrograde to a direct motion. First thing to notice is that Saturn sitting here is going to definitely increase your interest towards research, towards accomplishing something new, towards delving into matters that can be dealt by yourself secretly, or perhaps doing some sort of upskilling, reskilling of things. It could also give you tendencies of doing some sort of fast gains, quick gains. Please shy away from that. Reason being is that this Saturn is giving a debilitated aspect to your 10th house. You will have to be absolutely critical how you approach your karma. It cannot be anything negative. You should not be shying away from work or responsibilities coming your way at your work. If you do, it can be tricky from your job perspective or your overall experience in that. It is also important to understand that this Saturn giving an aspect to the 10th means that it wants you to be focusing towards your karma. You've had some sort of luck favoring you during the retrograde period, but that is now going to be coming into motion or fruition only and only if you are working hard enough. There might be scenarios where you might find yourself not equipped enough, achieve what is expected out of you. Do not panic. You will learn in isolation and you will bounce back and you will do well. So don't be skeptical about such a situation coming in your life, because that kind of a scenario is very much possible. Now you have to relate that with respect to your own chart, with respect to your own life, and understand how it is going to be impacting. This Saturn is giving an aspect to your 2nd house as well. It is good with respect to your wealth and savings perspective. But remember, this aspect is into the sign of Leo. So you will find certain obstacles, challenges with respect to making your savings grow. There can be unnecessary argumentative situations that might come up in your family. Try and refrain away from those kind of situations. Unhealthy eating habits will also be detrimental. I will urge you to please stay away from bad food regimen. Try and pick up healthy habits during this period, because it is going to add. In fact, it is going to be a natural remedy for you to improve your savings, your wealth in general. During this period, you will also be getting an aspect of Saturn into your 5th house. Please be cautious with respect to your investments. You have to continue in the same momentum that you followed so far. Do not be deterred with any kind of speculation or any kind of gambling tendencies. That will be detrimental. But if you are following a slow and steady approach, growth is bound to come in the long run for you. And that is what is being promised by this Saturn as well. It is the lord of your 7th house as well. Please maintain healthy relationships with your family members, with your spouse and your partners. I see that some of you could have tricky situations with your spouses or your partners that can be unexpected challenges or problems, misunderstanding that might crop up. That may not be the case for everyone, especially if your natal Saturn is in a good position. But usually I'm very well, most of the planets are stationed in the 8th house, unless otherwise it is a Jupiter. With this Saturn being the lord of 8, It is not going to do much damage as such. In fact, it could be fruitful for you because 8th Lord being in 8 is going to give you some really good opportunities with respect to money making, with respect to your family members in general. Their well being, your health could all improve as long as you practice what I've been trying to preach here, that you have to focus proper language. Mars is debilitated, guys. It is important. We should not forget that no matter what the scenario is. So that is something you will have to keep a caution of. And then spend some time with your family. Spending some time offering service within the family itself is going to be a very good remedy again. Doing some chores at home is going to add positivity to your mental frame as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Thank you for watching. As you guys can see on the screen here, you have Saturn sitting in your 7th house. Now it is the lord of your 6th and 7th, and it has been in retrograde motion, now getting direct. First and foremost, you have to understand the lord of 6th coming into 7th means that there are definitely certain challenges, certain problems that you can expect with respect to your partnerships, with respect to your marriage, or your public dealing in general. You will have to remain cautious. In fact, the retrograded motion was much better for you in a way. However, while the retrograde planets get very powerful, a malefic getting powerful in a retrograde motion is not generally considered as a great thing. This Saturn is giving a debilitated aspect to your 9th house. And that is where I think it is going to be a much better situation for you. Because in the retrograded aspect, it was bringing some play of the 8th house as well. Now, though the aspect is in debilitation to 9th, you will still find that somewhere or the other, fortune will start favoring the brave. You will see that there will be opportunities for you at your workplace. There could be a potential rise in stature. You could get a promotion or a salary check, but it may not be to your ideal liking. Yes, you will see an upgrade, but it will not be a very top-notch upgrade that you can boast about. But don't worry, whatever Saturn offers is for the long run, and it is always what a person deserves. So if you've put in the right effort, you will see that outcome coming in. Keep your expectations in check. Some sort of competition at your workplace, some sort of challenges through your peers, through your co-workers can be expected. Do not fret. Keep on focusing on your daily regimen. Follow your schedule, your timetable, even at work. And I'm talking work specifically because this is the lord of your 6th as well. You will have to maintain similar discipline towards your relationships. You will have to be very open, communicative, and direct. Why? Because this Saturn is giving an aspect to your Lagna as well. And you are Leo ascendants. So it's a challenging aspect from this Saturn. However, you are still going to get a lot of thoughtfulness in you. You will have a lot of gravitas coming in now, and you will experience that this is a period where you will be weighing your options much more carefully, especially when it comes to the kind of efforts that you're putting at your workplace. This Saturn is also giving an aspect to your 4th house. Please take proper precautions for your mental health as well as the health of your mother. I think both of them should be on a path of improvement for you during this period. But it doesn't mean that we drop the ball in terms of what we are intending to do. There will be a high sense of itch inside you to do something with respect to new renovation project or something in terms of construction, acquiring a new property or any kind of new asset. Please do weigh your options by checking in your natal chart as well. And I'm repeating, you are the second zodiac to which I'm repeating this. You will have to be careful in terms of taking those calls and make sure you check all your possibilities. Check the monthly reading as well to understand how other planets are influencing this. But in general, just from a Saturn's perspective, it sounds to be a suitable period for you to approach anything related to all these aspects. From your 9th house perspective, I would want you to give one more caution. Please understand that this debilitated aspect can bring in certain argumentative situations either with your fatherly figure, your father himself, your superiors or bosses at work. You will have to refrain from that because that is the tricky situation that might come with respect to this aspect. But overall, you will still find that with your own hard work, you will be shaping your luck during this period. You will start doing much better depending as to how you have expressed, communicated, and then aligned with your superiors. All of that is completely dependent on the quality and the dignity of Saturn in your natal chart as well. Last but not the least, guys, this Saturn expects you to work hard. This Saturn expects you to be disciplined. This Saturn expects you to reward. So please do consider this with all seriousness, that how you can use next few weeks or months to strengthen yourself and get the outcomes that you desire in the next few months to follow. I hope you've liked this video, guys. If you have, then please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Thank you for watching. Virgos. As you guys can see on your screen here, Saturn is in your 6th house. He is the lord of your 5th and 6th and stationed in your 6th house. Now it is getting from retrograde to direct motion from November 15th. And first and foremost, what you will notice is that there will be some definitive positive action when it comes to people who are working. You will see opportunities for growth. You might find new opportunities coming your way. And it is also possible that there could be some talk or discussion about you getting promotion. Remember, this Saturn is giving a debilitated aspect to your 8th house. So some of the unexpected challenges that were to come your way are going to get fishy washed. You are going to overcome those challenges without you yourself knowing about them. But you have to maintain proper discipline during this period. Please focus on your daily regimen. Please focus on how you are putting your efforts from a timetable perspective. That military mindset has to percolate in your daily conduct, be it your job, be it your education, or anything for that matter. Students, if you are watching this video, there is a possibility that you could find success in competitive examinations during this period. You could do very well if you've been slogging hard all this while. This Saturn's aspect in the 8th house could also mean that there will be a heightened interest into the occult practices or potentially exploring something new. Now, I'm not very sure how much of a success you can gain in terms of doing this research, reskilling, upskilling yourself. It is completely dependent on the dignity and quality of this Saturn in your natal chart as well. But yes, interest on pursuing a new course, something like a new certification, or just picking up, say, astrology for that matter, could be heightened for you. This Saturn is also giving an aspect to your 12th house. It is giving an aspect into the sign of Leo. Now, you will have to be watchful when it comes to unnecessary spending. Unnecessary spending could also come in the form of health expenses. If you are maintaining good regimen with respect to your health, with respect to your daily schedule, I think you should be able to overcome all those problems, and it may negate those possibilities. However, if not, there could be situations where you might not have very friendly relations with people or colleagues who are operating out of different cultures or different geographies itself. There could be certain situations that you might proactively want to avoid. I don't see you negatively getting impacted with that, but I will recommend you that you should not pursue anything. Your enemies will not be able to overcome you at any cost, but you should not pursue them proactively. You have to also understand that this is a period that might give certain hiccups if you've been planning for immigration, visa related issues, or any kind of long distance travel. Doesn't mean that it will deter your movement, but yes, some sort of problem is expected and it might come your way when you have not thought about it. Please be watchful of these kind of scenarios. Now, the Saturn is also giving an aspect to your 3rd house. It is an aspect to the sign of Scorpio, but it is an aspect to a good house for Saturn. Means you will be focused in terms of putting in more hard work. Saturn is sitting in 6th and giving an aspect to 3rd. So both of your critical houses with respect to your schedule, your physical labor, your efforts are getting energized. And mind you, if you put your efforts in the right direction, this Saturn is bound to give you a reward as well. And it is getting connected with this debilitated aspect of 8th house. So if you are putting your efforts in the right way, unexpected challenges that could come your way will already be avoided without you even planning about them. So please think in that direction as well. Keep your relationships with your co-workers, with your family members healthy. Focus on your health as well. It is going to be very important. And last but not the least, if you have liked this video, then please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Thank you for watching, guys. Libra. As you guys can see on your screen here, Saturn is sitting in your 5th house. Now, Saturn is the lord of your 4th and 5th. It is one of the Yoga Karaka planets for you guys. And it is sitting in a very beautiful position as well. Now, it gets direct motion from November 15th from the retrograde motion. And it is going to bring a lot of positive possibilities as well for you. First and foremost, I think this is a period where if you are pursuing some sort of romantic relationships, or if you want to get started in a new relationship, it will be a decent period for you to explore. You will have general heightened mental peace. You will also take some creative measures, thoughts, planning when it comes to remodeling your house, doing some sort of construction, or probably buying a new property, a new asset as well. And that new asset doesn't necessarily mean a property itself. It could be anything. However, I do see a heightened possibility of you doing some sort of technology or IP-based investment. It could mean stocks as well. And that sort of an investment should be very fruitful for you during this period. At the same time, you have to understand that this Saturn is giving a debilitated aspect in your 7th house. So when you are planning to start something new, if that new is in a new partnership, then you will have to be a little careful because that can be tricky. You have to be watchful if you are married with your spousal relationships as well. There could be situations where things might not work out to the best of your expectation in your marriage or your partnerships in general. So forging any kind of new business relationships has to be dealt very seriously and cautiously. You will have to also take due precaution if you are planning to start something new whilst you are doing any kind of documentation. Even in case of new property purchase and assets, that is one area I would want you to be absolutely sure of so that you do not fall into a negative situation. Remember, Mars is debilitated, so you have to keep that at the back of your mind. And you must watch the monthly readings as well so that you can tie in it with your overall reading with respect to what each planet is going to do and how it is going to impact. Now, the Saturn is also giving an aspect to your 11th house. It is giving an aspect into the sign of Leo. Wish fulfillment is definitely there. The goals, objectives, and targets that you've been setting for yourself, that accomplishment is definitely coming your way. But it might come up with certain hurdles. Especially if it is in partnership, you can expect certain challenges coming your way. Last but not the least, the Saturn is also giving an aspect to your 2nd house. I do see the possibility of increase of your wealth. I do see the possibility of you improving on your savings. I will, however, want you to please be careful when it comes to the quality of food you're consuming. Please improve on that front. Please also be watchful with respect to your communication to your family members. You have to be kind, patient, and use good quality words when interacting with them because this aspect is into the sign of Scorpio. And that is why it is tricky and important for you to understand this bit. You have to also understand that this Saturn, being the lord of 4th, will bring in this tendency of acquiring more knowledge in some shape or form. This means many of you watching the video might try and pick up new courses. You might want to pick up and go for new degrees. Pursuing or starting new education may not at all be a bad idea. In fact, if you have any recommendation coming in, especially from your mother, with respect to your creative work or with respect to you pursuing anything related to your education, bounce off ideas with her. It is going to be a very good thing. In general, your mental peace, mental calm should improve. Health of your mother should improve during this period, and you are going to see an uptick in that direction. And most importantly, guys, if you've liked this video, then smash on the like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. 80% of you are watching this video but not subscribing. That subscribe click goes a long way. Thank you for watching. Scorpios. Saturn is the lord of your 3rd and your 4th house, and it is getting direct from November 15th. Now, we understand that from your fourth house perspective is the lord of your mental peace, of your assets, of the property, your emotions, and your connection with your mother as well. There is a possibility that during the retrograde period, as I talked earlier in my videos as well, you would have seen certain decline of your mother's health or lack of mental peace in general. That is one definitive change that is going to come into play. The retrograded Saturn was good in terms of pushing you to work hard, and you've been putting a lot of efforts so far. And that is where I would want you to continue to do so and not drop the ball. Yes, you will definitely see that your mother's health will see a change. Her emotional well being is going to see a lot of improvement versus what they've faced in the last few weeks and months. But the Saturn is also giving a debilitated aspect to your sixth house. One thing is for sure, matters with respect to your job are going to see some improvement. Yes, even with a debilitated aspect, it is going to see some improvement because in the retrograde motion, it was going 12th to itself towards the fifth house, thereby giving you a lot of problems, lot of obstacles and challenges in your office. But now what you would find is that slowly and steadily things will start falling in place. Good bit is that the peers or people who were trying to compete with you will not be able to win over you. But you will have to still slog your ass off and work hard enough to overcome those challenges. You will, however, find that there could be some tricky situations in you maintaining your discipline. Please do not drop the ball and continue to maintain a schedule, a daily regimen that can give you the promise of the sixth house. There is a possibility that you might do well with respect to any kind of new construction, remodeling, or changes in your house as well. There is a definite possibility of improvement in that area. And if you are seeking any kind of loans, any kind of financial support, it will finally fall in place for you. I will urge you to not get into any legal hassles. If you do, or if you are, you will be slowly, steadily, and after a lot of toil, be able to come out of it. This Saturn is also giving an aspect to your 10th house, but it is giving an aspect to the sign of Leo. But fear not, even though it is aspecting the Leo sign, it is aspecting the 10th house, which is one of the most favorite positions or placements of Saturn. Yes, it is a tad bit uncomfortable in the 4th house, given it loses its direction strength. But the aspect to 10th is going to be helpful because it is going to push you in your profession. It is going to push you towards the effort that you put from your karma perspective. There can be a subtle change in your status. There is a possibility that you might get newer opportunities with respect to your career, new job opportunities, or some sort of promotion. It might not be a drastic change, but a tad bit positive change is definitely expected. Now, of course, you have to weigh in the gravity in terms of the dignity of this Saturn in your natal chart and how other planets are also impacting even in transit. So you must check out my monthly readings to figure out how all of this is going to pan out for you. This Saturn will also give an aspect to the sign of Scorpio Lagna to its 10th aspect. So yes, one thing is that there will be some improvement in health versus the retrograded aspect. But this Saturn expects you to work hard. This Saturn expects you to pick up habits like gymming. Walking can be a very good remedy in a way for you guys. So please consider doing that as well. You will be stressed and you will be stressed with a lot of responsibilities coming your way, but it is definitely not a bad thing. Being busy than being lazy is a much better aspect. So try quit on any kind of procrastination, any kind of laziness that might start creeping up on you. Overall, I think Saturn is coming up with a promise of rewarding you with the right outcomes if your efforts are in right place. And you will see those rewards percolating in the next few weeks and months in itself. Guys, last but not the least, in fact, the most important point I want to call out is if you've liked the video, then please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Just 20% of you are subscribed versus the views that I get. So I hope you reward this effort with a subscription. Thank you for watching. Now, Sagittarius, as you guys can see, Saturn is sitting in your 3rd house. He is the lord of your 2nd and 3rd, and it is going direct from retrograde motion on November 15th. 3rd house is a decent placement for Saturn to be in because it is one of the malefics that enjoys hard work, which is all what 3rd house is all about. Now, first and foremost, what you will notice is that your communication Your hard work will suddenly start falling in place. You will start putting your efforts in the right direction in the next few weeks and months to follow. The other good bit is that there was some tendency of laziness that I had referred in my previous videos as well for you guys, Sagittarius, that had crept in, which is now going to go away. The third bit for you to understand is that somewhere or the other there was too much leaning or dependence towards your family members and a shadow of yourself. So I see a positive shift happening for Sagittarius from all these aspects. We have to remember though that this Saturn is given a debilitated aspect when it comes to your fifth house. And thereby you have to be careful with respect to your investments. Any kind of new measures that you are trying to take, anything new that you are trying to embark upon, please give a second thought and due planning before you start your journey. You have to also be watchful with respect to your investments. Do not shuffle around your portfolio any bit. If you've stuck to a particular pattern or cycle so far, I think that is what you have to continue until Saturn is in this position. I would also urge you to be careful with respect to how you conduct yourself with respect to your kids. A relationship with them should not be argumentative and you should not be disciplining your kids way too much. I anticipate Sagittarius for you some sort of challenges coming in with respect to your romantic life. There could be certain challenges that may still not get sorted. The retrograded Saturn had given a lot of complications with respect to that part of your life, and you might see some respite, but you still have to be very careful in terms of how you are expressing, in terms of your communication to your loved one. There will be a definitive improvement from your end, but it will still take some time for your relationships to prosper and blossom. Now, the Saturn is also giving an aspect to your ninth house in the sign of Leo. Please be careful with respect to your relationships with your fatherly figure, with your superiors, your bosses. I anticipate you might be taking some sort of long spiritual journeys during this period as well. Overall, health of your father should be taken care of. And you should try and spend some time with your father because it is going to give a positive remedial impact to your life. Just a simple discussion and interaction or sharing of ideas as to how you can plan your wealth, how you can do better with respect to your family may not at all be a bad idea for you. This Saturn is also giving an aspect to your 12th house in the sign of Scorpio. Please watch out on your expenses. It's better for you to do charitable work, donation, spiritual activities, or even continue to invest strategically when it comes to your stock investments, investment portfolio. That sort of an expense is doable. But any kind of speculation, which is what I missed calling out with respect to that debilitated aspect, can be very tricky and could result in losses. So please do not act funny. Do not go for a short run. Do not try to make squeeze in your profits too early, too soon, because that might not be the best approach for you at this period. Staying long is going to be very helpful. And most importantly, guys, if you've liked this video, then smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Hardly 20% of you have subscribed to my views that I'm getting, and I expect more support from you. Thank you for watching. Capricorn. Now your ascendant lord and your lord of the second house is getting direct from its retrograde motion on November 15th, and it is stationed in the second house itself. It's a very good thing for you to happen because now what you will notice is that your relationships within your family, your food habits in general, your wealth, which had seen some sort of drain or expenses, would also come into a check. And you will see overall the strength of your Lagna Lord moving in a forward direction. Now, malefics, they are not seen great when it comes to a retrograde motion because of their malefic nature itself. But we're talking about your Lagna Lord, so it is not definitely the case for you guys. In this case, however, as it gets direct, you will see that the debilitated aspect of Saturn coming into your fourth house could be a little tricky for your mental health or from your health of your mother's perspective. So please be watchful with respect to those regards. I think some of the problems that we had discussed in this regard during the retrograde motion were shimmering down, but they could come back to light again. You might find general lack of peace coming your way. I will urge you not to start any kind of new remodeling exercises, new construction or development, and you might give some more time unless and until you have a very good position of this Saturn in your natal chart itself. Otherwise, you will have to also see that how the other transit planets are behaving. You can watch the monthly readings that I publish to see that what is a more suitable period and not negatively prone period for you to take any kind of measures related to these aspects. It is also possible that you might end spending with respect to some unexpected, unforeseen expenses coming in with respect to your property. So there could be certain electrical problems. Remember, Mars is debilitated. There could be some electrical problems or other issues which might come in your home and might require your attention. But overall, I think you will do well from your wealth perspective. You will do pretty well in terms of expanding on your savings, and that is going to be on the rise for you. The Saturn is also giving an aspect to your 8th house in the sign of Leo. Now, please be watchful in how you are going to proportion your time in isolation in terms of learning new things, in terms of reskilling, upskilling yourself, or maybe you might see a general interest towards occult sciences in general. However, I will warn you to not get into any kind of speculative activities, any kind of gambling interest may be negative for you. You have to keep a watch on your health as well, consume good food, which I think you will practice, but some sort of minor tricky issues with respect to health, stomach problems, and below could come into play. Nothing serious is expected, but yes, please be watchful on that regard and practice some caution. Now, the Saturn is also giving an aspect into the sign of Scorpio into your 11th house. That is interesting because this change from retrogression to direct will mean that there is a very strong possibility of you accomplishing on some of the goals, targets, objectives that you had set for yourself. You will now find that some of these targets that you are trying to materialize, they will come into fruition. You've been very patiently waiting, and we've been talking about this during the entire transit. But if none of that has happened for you yet, this is the last leg of Saturn which is going to reward you with all of that. So please be patient and continue working hard because Saturn will do that. Yes, minor obstacles are expected because it is the sign of Scorpio that we're talking about, and you should and be prepared for any kind of transformation. Scorpio transformation energy is needed for you guys as well, at least for the month of November and half of December as well. So keep that in mind. Last but not the least, and very importantly, I will urge you guys to please smash on the like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology because only 20% of you are subscribing, and I get a lot of views from you, but not the subscriptions. So your support is dearly needed, guys. Please reward this effort with your subscription. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Aquarius. Now your Lagna Lord, as well as the Lord of your 12th house, is getting direct from November 15th through its retrograde motion. I think this is going to be a very interesting thing for you, and it is a good movement happening for you, Aquarius. First and foremost, there were certain challenges that I had called out in my last few videos with respect to your health. Your Lagna Lord getting into retrogression from a health perspective or with respect to your expenses wasn't a great idea. But I see definitely some improvement coming in your way. You will find that spirituality will be on the rise for you. There could be certain positive movements that you might find with respect to your international collaboration, maybe your travel to faraway places or getting in touch with people from the unknown territory, from different cultures itself. If you are expecting any kind of movement with respect to your visa matters, immigration and stuff, that could be on the positive rise. At the same time, you should anticipate some sort of expenses also coming in your way. That is mandatory and it is okay. Last but not the least, you have to understand that this Saturn, though being the lord of your Lagna, is giving an debilitated aspect to your 3rd house. There is a possibility of you losing some effort, energy when it comes to your pursuits, when it comes to your hard work. I would want you guys to please not drop the ball in that direction. Or it is also a possibility that you might falter when it comes to your communication strategy, especially your formal communication. And that could reflect negatively because this Saturn is going to be giving an aspect into your 10th house as well, which is your house of profession. So it is very important for you guys, Aquarius, to remember that you have to practice caution while you are interacting with people. You have to shrug off that lazy behavior in terms of your efforts, in terms of the hobbies. Any kind of physical hobby must be pursued by you during this period. You have to also understand that this Saturn is giving an aspect to your 7,000 to the sign of Leo, and it is not an easy aspect. So you will have to be watchful when it comes to your spousal relationships or your business partnerships in general. Yes, there is definitely hard work expected, and that hard work will be rewarding as well with this Saturn sitting in its own sign. So you will have that tendency to work in the right direction, albeit sometimes you might just drop the ball or stop putting in enough efforts just when you are about to reach your goals. And that goal could be anything. It could be your communication with your spouse. It could be you pursuing a new deal with respect to your business, or it could be you starting, let's say, a YouTube channel of your own. Many of you have commented and asked me that question. So if you are doing that, Aquarius, you should be more serious as to how you address that problem. You have to also understand that this Saturn is giving an aspect to your 10th house, and it is a very critical and important aspect. This is one of the favorite aspects from Saturn because he's the general karaka of 10th house. Work, profession, karma will be on the foray. It is going to be on focal for you guys. And how you spend your energy at your workplace is going to be very transformative for you. It is going to be very enlightening and enriching as well. So please do not refrain from putting in long hours, from putting in more effort from your profession stand. Whether or not you are in running your own business or if you are in a job in general. You have to also understand that you have to check the degree of the Saturn to completely understand what is the impact in your natal chart, and accordingly you will see the results in your transit as well. You have to also analyze the impact of other planets, especially in the Scorpio sign. There is a multiple planetary movement currently happening for which you should check out the monthly reading. Now, last but not the least, and the most important point for you guys to remember is that you have to smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology, because many of you guys keep watching the videos, but you do not subscribe, and my conversion ratio is just 20%. So I need your support, guys. Please subscribe to Dev Astrology and keep supporting and motivating me with your participation. Thank you for watching. Pisces. All right, Saturn is sitting in the sign of Aquarius in your 12th house, being the lord of both 12th and 11th. It's an interesting change for this Saturn moving away from retrogression into a direct motion, because it was giving some impact from an 11th house perspective as well to you. But now what you would notice is that your lord of gains is sitting in its own sign in 12th. Spirituality, first and foremost, is going to be on a rise for you. You are going to prefer working in isolation in the next few days, especially if you are in a job. You will have deep-rooted focus towards your career. There might be certain obstacles, challenges coming in your way from your peers, competitors in general, but please do not fret. Saturn's aspect to the 6th is going to help you overcome that. But still, you will find some challenges coming because it is an aspect into your sign of Leo. So do not shrug off and drop the ball or run away from any kind of pain points, because you are eventually going to overcome those problems as long as you keep on putting in the right effort. People who have their ambitions, eyes set on any kind of foreign collaboration, any kind of international movement, travel of some sort, even spiritual journeys, you are going to find success because your 11th Lord is in 12th and he is going to help you enable and accomplish all of them. You are going to find certain gains which might get into investments, and I necessarily don't want to think as expenses. So you should just plan and strategize into those investments as well, and especially if those investments are into anything internationally or anything far away unknown to you. So if you're not, let's say, in a particular domain, exploring something different, completely unknown for you may not be a bad idea. Remember, this Saturn is going to be giving a debilitated aspect to your second house. Watch your expenses because it is going to reduce on your wealth gains, your savings too. You will have to watch out on the kind of food you consume, the way you are interacting within your family. All of that is going to be critical. For food, it is important for you to understand that you should not be eating stale, frozen, or saved food from last few days. That is going to be detrimental to your health. And that aspect of Saturn, not just to your second house, but also to your sixth, to your house of health, can be tricky for those reasons. And that is why I'm giving a detailed warning with respect to that. See, you will have to take certain precaution. There could be certain tendency of weight gain because of this reason, or you developing certain issues with respect to your tummy, with respect to your stomach. This Saturn is also going to be giving an aspect to your ninth house. Now, ninth house aspect is into the sign of Scorpio, and we've talked about this in the monthly reading as well. But this is going to be a transformative aspect. This Saturn expects you to bring around certain transformation, and then your luck is going to start favoring you. But you are definitely going to see some sort of impact, positive impact in terms of your luck, fortune favoring you. That should work in your direction as long as you are maintaining your daily regimen, as long as you are maintaining your schedule. Folks who are expecting some sort of loans or litigation matters to come to an end, you will find closure with respect to that. In fact, you're going to find success with respect to that. Yes, with a certain problem coming in your way, or maybe not to your best liking. It could be that you might not end up with the best deal for the legal matter that you would want, but you will still come out successfully, more so in your favor. Last but not the least, in fact, the most important point, guys, you have to remember is that you must smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Many of you have been watching my videos but not subscribing, and that is the request I want to send out to you folks, that please give me that motivation and remain connected. Help this channel grow, because I depend on you guys for the growth of this channel. Thank you for watching, and Om Namah Shivaya.